Imagine running for your life. Angels have literally dragged you out of your home. Fire is about to rain down and you hear one clear instruction. Don't look back. Seems simple, right? And yet Lot's wife, and the Bible doesn't tell us her name, so let's call her nāďaṭ. nāďaṭ turns around to look back, and in an instant, she's gone. A pillar of salt. But let's rewind for a second. Lot and his family had lived in Sodom for years. They had status, wealth, and a home. But when God sent angels to warn of the city's destruction, they were told to flee. No time to pack, no looking back, and yet Lot's wife did. And in a moment, everything changed. Was it just about looking back, or was there something deeper going on? Let's break this story down. Before we dive deeper, let's talk about why Sodom was facing destruction. Genesis chapter 18 verse 20 tells us, "So the Lord told Abraham, I have heard a great outcry from Sodom and Gomorrah because of their sin is so flagrant." What was the sin? Ezekiel chapter 16 verses 49 through 50 gives us more detail. Sodom's sins were pride, gluttony, and laziness. While the poor and needy suffered outside her door, Sodom was proud and committed detestable sins, so I wiped her out, as you have seen. Their downfall wasn't just about immorality. It was about arrogance, injustice, and a total disregard for God and others. God's judgment wasn't random. It was the result of persistent wickedness that had reached a breaking point. So when fire rained down, it was God's righteous judgment against a city that had completely turned its back on him. God, in his mercy, remembered Abraham's intercession and extended grace to Lot and his family. Lot wasn't perfect, but because of God's compassion and Abraham's prayers, Lot was given a way out. God's judgment was coming, but his grace made a way for escape. But even mercy comes with instructions. Don't look back. Let's pick up this story in Genesis chapter 19, verses 23 through 26. The sun had risen on the earth when Lot came to Zoar. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the valleys and all the inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife, whom we're calling nāďaṭ, behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. The original Hebrew word used here for looked back is nāďaṭ. Now, this isn't just a casual glance over the shoulder. This word means to gaze intently, to regard with purpose, even to look with longing. This wasn't about curiosity. This was about an attachment. This word nāďaṭ is also found in Isaiah and in the book of Psalms. Isaiah 51 verse 1 says, "Listen to me, you who pursue righteousness, you who seek the Lord. Look to the rock from which you were hewn and to the quarry from which you were dug." So this verse is about deep reflection. Psalm 34 verse 5, "Those who look to him are radiant, and their faces shall never be ashamed." So this verse here is about trust and reliance upon the Lord. So nāďaṭ wasn't just curious as to what was happening in Sodom. She was longing for it. Her heart was still there in Sodom. Now let's step into nāďaṭ's sandals for a second. Lot and his wife weren't just ordinary people in Sodom, as I stated earlier. They were important. Lot sat at the city gate, which means he had status. They had wealth, they had comfort, they had familiarity. And in one night, it was all gone. Her home, her life, everything they had worked for, burning behind her. Her nāďaṭ, her longing, wasn't just about the city itself, but what it represented. It was security, it was control. And leaving meant trusting God for an uncertain future. And I think it's safe to say she trusted in what was behind her more than what was in front of her. Why a pillar of salt? The details of how Lot's wife became a pillar of salt are not given. She may have been overcome by the fiery, sulfurous debris sent to destroy Sodom. The narrative doesn't say how close she was to Sodom or if she actually reached Zoar. Her turning into a pillar of salt may have been an isolated supernatural act. Salt in the Bible is symbolic in a few ways. First, judgment and barrenness. Deuteronomy 29 verse 23. Sodom was cursed with salt and sulfur. Number two, covenant and permanence. Numbers chapter 18 verse 19. Salt was used in binding agreements. Then there's preservation and stagnation. Unlike water, salt doesn't flow. It stays. It stays stuck. We could deduce that nāďaṭ became a symbol of judgment and stagnation, forever frozen in the past she couldn't let go of. Fast forward to the New Testament, and Jesus gives this one-line warning: remember Lot's wife. In Luke chapter 17, Jesus is talking about the end times, about following him wholeheartedly. And the message is clear. When God calls you forward, don't look back. Luke 9 verse 62 says, "No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God." Jesus is saying partial obedience is still disobedience. nāďaṭ was out of Sodom, but Sodom wasn't out of her. And that's what got her stuck. So here's the challenge. What are you still looking back at? Is there something God told you to leave, but your heart keeps looking back? Maybe it's a toxic relationship, an old habit, or a past season of life. What's keeping you from moving forward? nāďaṭ was destroyed because she longed to be back in Sodom. The fact is, in her heart, she never truly left. And my prayer for you, that you won't just physically leave the things God freed you from, but you'll let them go in your heart and soul as well. If this message spoke to you, drop a comment below. What's something you've had to let go of to follow God? And if you want more deep dives like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.